Hey everyone, welcome back to Noiseberry Wrestling. So AEW was just here in Calgary on Wednesday for Dynamite and the Collision taping. I really wanted to do a recap, review kind of video about the show. I'm going to do it now, but it's probably going to be fairly short. We're in the middle of a heat wave here in Calgary. It's 32.5 degrees Celsius as I'm recording this. It's just very, very warm. You can see my fan running behind me. I think the audio should be fine, but it's just so hot. I need cooling right now. So Dynamite went live at 6 p.m. The show technically started at 5:30 p.m. My girlfriend and I went together, and ideally we wanted to be there about 5:30, grab some food, get in our seats, eat our dinner, and then hopefully be done by the time Dynamite started at 6. The Calgary Stampede is currently going on right now, which is why AEW comes here the same week. The last 2 years at least. And so that meant there was just a ton of traffic trying to get down to the Stampede grounds, which is where the venue was for the wrestling. I thought being a Wednesday evening might be kind of a little bit calmer. No, there was just so much traffic. I think it probably took us about 40 minutes to do the drive. Normally it's about a 20-25 minute drive. So all in all, we got to our seats at, I think it was like 5:55. So we got to our seats with our food. Justin Roberts came on. He was like, "We're gonna go live with Dynamite in 4 minutes," and so we just ate some of our food. You know, Dynamite started. We'd stand up to see things, sit back down to eat our food. Eventually, we got through our food. Just like last time I went, they recorded a little bit of Ring of Honor before the show. They didn't do any after the show this time, which is good because I was tired by the time it was done. I unfortunately have no idea what the Ring of Honor stuff was. I could hear the sound of a match going on while we were walking around the concourse to get our food. No idea what was happening, unfortunately. Like I said, by the time we sat down, the Ring of Honor stuff was done. Justin Roberts was talking to the crowd, said that we're going to go live pretty soon. So once the show went live, there was a recap of the MJF angle from his promo on last week's Collision. Then Will Ospreay came out to the ring. Got a great reaction, very, very popular with the crowd. He talked a bunch about MJF. MJF's music hit. He did not come out. There was a video package where he insulted Calgarians. Then they set up a match for, I think it's next week on Dynamite, it sounds like. Then the first match of the show was Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page in the Men's Owen Cup Tournament Finals. This is a match that I'm absolutely going to have to rewatch on the actual the Triller feed, the AEW Plus feed. For the first, probably about third of the match, half of the match. So our seats we were on the floor next to the ramp, basically like ramp down the middle. We were over on this side here, like the hard cam side. We were 6th row, 2 seats in from the aisle, so theoretically quite good seats. But for the first half of this match, there was a guy sitting in front of me, and he was just massive. He was tall and large and wide, and he had a big fucking stupid cowboy hat on because it's Stampede. And luckily it wasn't his actual seat. It looks like his seat was to the right of him. And so whoever's seat it was actually came in like halfway through the match, and they all switched around. And then from that point on, I had just a wonderful view of the ring. I could see over this guy like no problem. But yeah, I didn't really catch a ton of the first half of this match. The cage match rating looks like it's really good. I'm looking forward to rewatching it because I was super excited for this match. But it was kind of hard to get a good feel for it, kind of having missed the first half of it. I was very surprised that Bryan won this. I thought for sure Hangman would win. I thought it made the most sense for Hangman to win and go and challenge Swerve again. Either outcome is great. Danielson challenging for the world title at Wembley should be huge. Hangman has more motivation to join Team Elite in Blood and Guts because Swerve shortly after came out and said that he was going to head up Team AEW. So I do like that Hangman losing this match, you know, doesn't impact his feud with Swerve. You know, it almost furthers it. So I thought it was a great decision for Danielson to win. I was very happy to see that. I feel very grateful that I got to see Bryan Danielson on his retirement tour in person. That is definitely one of my bucket list wrestlers to see, so I'm glad I got to see him. After Danielson won, he was awarded the cup and the belt by Jeff Jarrett and Martha Hart. Swerve came out. They went to commercial on the feed, I guess. They did the WWE thing of like cutting to a video package while the commercials were on. Swerve didn't talk or anything, and then like just before they came back from commercial, they started playing his music again. So it looked like he'd been doing something the whole time. He wasn't. Like I said, Swerve then announced himself to head up Team AEW for Blood and Guts. He also challenged Okada for a match, which was made official for next week's Dynamite. Then I thought this might have been in commercial, but there was a music video from The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass where they were trying on the Young Bucks gear and stuff. Didn't think this was great. I don't think it did very well in the arena. It was what it was. And I feel like that video kind of set a little bit of a tone for a while there, because after the video, the next match was Chris Jericho versus Samoa Joe in a Stampede Street Fight. On the surface, that sounded awesome. Street Fight sounds like a lot of fun. Joe is awesome. So sick of Jericho. Hopefully Joe kills him. But they went to what we gathered was a commercial break at some point in the match. But before the commercial break started, Jericho had the Walls of Jericho on Joe, and he kept the walls on the entire commercial break. And this single-handedly killed the crowd for a while, honestly. It was painful, it was boring, people got quiet, they didn't know what to do during this match. They booed a bit because it was just so fucking boring. But I think by the time they came back, like, the crowd was silent because we'd literally just watched Joe be in the Walls of Jericho for 3 minutes. It was ridiculous. Just very, very poor booking. Not an exciting live show right there. Obviously, the crowd picked up a little bit when they brawled out into the crowd. They went backstage. We couldn't hear what was going on backstage in the arena for a little bit. They got the audio working for the big angle at the end, which was Joe getting loaded onto a pallet on the front of a forklift and getting driven through a drywall by that forklift. Honestly, a very crazy move. The crowd loved that. Didn't love Jericho. Well, a lot of the crowd did love Jericho, actually. He's Canadian. He's from Winnipeg. A lot of people liked him. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy angle. The whole driving through drywall bit. Next, we had the Fatal 4-Way. It was Pac versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Kyle Fletcher versus Tomohiro Ishii. Apparently, this was for a future AEW International Championship match. Nobody ever said that. I literally had no idea that was for a title opportunity until I'm reading the results right now. Nobody announced that to us in the building, which is quite funny. I guess the entrances weren't on TV. We got to see the entrances. They started playing Pac's music, and then it cut off, and we all booed. Justin Roberts came on the mic. He was like, "You guys like the bastard?" And we were like, "Yeah." And then his music actually played, and they did the entrances. This was a great match. Being on the floor can sometimes be difficult to see what's going on, but because it was a 4-way, even if 2 of them were kind of a bit out of view, the other 2 were easy to see. So it was a very, very fun match to watch. Ishii got a good reaction, which I was very happy about. I was so excited to see Ishii. Love that guy. Thought, another wrestler I was very grateful to see in person, because how often are you going to see a legend of Japanese wrestling in Calgary, Alberta, Canada? So Pac won the match. He got on the microphone. He said he's going to do big things at Wembley, pretty much. There was a video package, I guess. Renee was trying to interview Hangman. She snapped at him when he blew past her, which was very interesting to see. But he went to the Elite's locker room. Okada walked out and confronted him. The crowd liked that a lot. The crowd loved Okada, even though we didn't actually get to see him. But Page told the Bucks he'll do it, which just means he's going to join Team Elite in the Blood and Guts match. Next, there was the Mercedes Moné Double Championship toast. She got quite a mixed reaction, I guess. I mean, she's only very recently turned heel. A lot of people, it felt like the crowd didn't fully know if they were supposed to boo or cheer them. Mercedes didn't get a ton of boos until she did the Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be quote. Tons of heat for that, which worked very well in Calgary, of course. We all started chanting for DMD partway through Mercedes' promo. Britt Baker came out eventually. Another very big reaction. People loved Britt. She made Mercedes run away, talked on the mic a little bit, and that was the end of that segment. Then there was another video package of a spray-painted Brandon Cutler, who'd just been beaten up by Darby Allin. Bit of a surprise there. He wasn't actually in the arena or anything. We didn't get to see him in person, but he bullied the crap out of poor Brandon Cutler, and he basically said that he wants Jack Perry next. Then the main event was Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale in the Women Owens Cup Tournament Finals. This was a very good match, but of course the highlight was the post main event, or the post match, I guess. Mariah May won, which I predicted she was going to win. Story made sense, her versus Tony. But basically, Mariah won. She got out of the ring, walked all the way up the ramp, grabbed the women's ceremonial belt, the title belt from the stand, and just turned around and just instantly blasted Tony Storm in the head with it. And it was, there was no build up to it. Obviously, like, the story's building up to this. But she didn't tease that she was going to turn on Tony. She just instantly turned on Tony. And she did it so fast that I actually missed the initial blasting with the belt. I kind of only caught on when she was whipping Tony with the belt. And it was just a huge moment, just a fantastic heel turn. The crowd reacted huge to it. Tony got all bloodied. Mariah kicked Luther in the balls, threw him through tables. It was crazy. It was just a really good visual. That is another part of the show that I'm really looking forward to rewatching very soon. So after Dynamite was done, they very quickly, cleaned up the ring and stuff like that, wiped up the stage. Tony Khan came out, told us to stick around because we were taping Collision right away. I think at this point it was 10 after 8, 5 after 8, something like that. And I was a bit worried that it would go another 2 hours. But then I realized, they're taping Collision. They don't have to film a full 2 hours because they can add commercial breaks and stuff. So it actually went. I think we got out at something like 9:55. So it was actually a very reasonably timed show. But yeah, these are these are going to be spoilers for the Saturday, July 13th episode of Collision. Stop watching if you don't want the spoilers, I guess. They'd only advertised one match for the Collision taping, and that was the very first match, so everything after was a surprise to everyone in the crowd. The first match was Konosuke Takeshita versus Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington. Collision is what it is. It's a lot of very predictable matchups. I don't think anybody expected Takeshita to lose this. Very good match, longer than I was expecting, kind of a little bit more competitive than I was expecting, but Takeshita won. After the match, Don Callis came down to the ring. Ton of boos, love to see it. He still gets boos even in Canada, I do like that. But he basically said he was impressed, and he offered Billington a place in the Don Callis family. And I mean, it was pretty obvious he was going to turn them down, and someone in our row kind of rightly pointed out, why on earth would he turn them down? It's his one of his first times being featured on AEW. He's just been offered a position in a very prominent faction. What's the reasoning for him to not join? What else has he got going for him? But he did, to a big reaction. Obviously got beaten down by Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher came back out. And who comes out to make the save but FTR? As much as I really dislike FTR, they got a huge reaction from the crowd. Probably one of the biggest reactions of the night. People were very excited to see FTR. After that, we had a very fast squash match. It was a 6-man tag team match with the Bang Bang Gang, minus Jay White, versus London Lightning, Michael Allen, Richard Clark, and Sean Moore. I know Clark and Moore are definitely Calgary locals. I've seen both of them at Dungeon Wrestling before. None of them got an entrance or anything. They just got the dark walkout entrance. Very quick squash match. People really liked the Bang Bang Gang. They got on the mic afterwards. People did guns up. They said that Juice Robinson was a quarter of the Trios champions, which is very funny. Then Christopher Daniels came out, and he said no, you can't do that. You can't fill in for an injured Jay White. So he stripped them of the Trios Championships. People did not like that. People booed that, rightfully so, quite a bit. Christian Cage and the Patriarchy came out. They said, good decision, just award us the titles now. CD said, I'm not going to do that, you idiot Christian Cage. Didn't call him an idiot. And then they set a match for, I think, next week. For the vacant titles. They'll both face each other for the vacant titles. Interesting, I guess. I don't fully know why they stripped the Bang Bang Gang. Like I said, it was not a popular decision at all. But it was, they were very over with the crowd. Next, we had Roderick Strong versus Dalton Castle. It was a pretty decent match. It was another fairly long match. And the crowd was definitely tired at this point. After this, they were pretty quiet for a while. There was another match a little bit later that really killed them. But they were definitely starting to quiet down. Like I said, Calgary's in the middle of a heat wave right now. We're literally still technically in the middle of this is sounding like the 5th week of a water shortage and state of emergency in Calgary. So people are just tired in general in Calgary. So this was a fine match. There was a botch right at the end that I assume they're gonna figure out a way to edit out of TV. But basically, Strong had Castle down for the pin. The ref counted 2, and he was going down for 3, and Castle didn't move, and he didn't count the 3, and then they all looked at each other, and then the ref counted 3 and signaled for the bell. Really awkward finish. I assume they'll edit that off TV, but there you go, a little bit of backstage there. There's a botched finish in this match. Next, there was Nyla Rose beating local talent Ava Lawless. I think I saw her at Dungeon Wrestling as well, but I recognized her and the name. She's around in Calgary wrestling. Very fast squash match, nothing to it. It was fine for what it was. And then this next match really did kind of kill the crowd, which is a shame because, on paper it's not too bad. It was Darius and Dante Martin, Top Flight, versus Shane Taylor Promotions, which was Lee Moriarty and Anthony Ogogo. Long match. There was a really drawn-out heat segment where Darius was being killed in the ring, and we were waiting for Dante to get the hot tag. It just really, really dragged out, and the crowd was so quiet. At least in my section, I don't know how it's going to come across on TV, but we were just so quiet for this match, honestly. I can't stand Shane Taylor Promotions, that they're just an ROH team. I don't want to see ROH teams on AEW. So, just no heat for these guys, I don't think. Next, there was Sky Blue versus Harley Cameron. Didn't really know who the babyface or heel was in this. I thought they were both heel, but Sky came out in a white cowboy hat, so we were like, oh great, she's the face for this match. So we cheered her, and as she was coming down the ramp, she was just giving everyone dirty looks. I was like, oh okay, I guess she's still the heel. And then Saraya and Harley Cameron were also heels. So another match that really killed the crowd because I think they just didn't know how to react to a heel, a very heatless heel versus heel match. Sky Blue won, that was that. Saraya was ringside and chirping with people in the crowd, which was quite funny. I liked seeing Saraya. It was fun. And then the main event was Matt Taven and Mike Bennett versus Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly. And the Undisputed Kingdom pinned Kyle O'Reilly at the end of it. I guess I couldn't see this from my seats, but it sounds like Trent Beretta attacked Orange Cassidy when he was kind of lying outside the ring, so he wasn't able to save Kyle. I didn't notice that Trent was there until after the bell had rung. And of course, Roderick Strong came out, and then I was totally expecting Mark Briscoe to come out to save the day. But who comes out instead but Ishii again, which was great. He got another good reaction there. Still quite a tired crowd, but they were very excited to see Ishii, which I absolutely loved because I love Ishii, and I was just happy to see him get 2 good reactions in one night. And that was the end of the show. Like I said, no Ring of Honor afterwards. It finished at something literally just before 10 p.m. We were all tired and hot, so we were happy to get out of there. But very, very fun show. I do hope they make it a tradition to come back here during Stampede. I would happily go again next year. I would probably not sit on the floor this time, though. I definitely preferred the seats my girlfriend and I had last year more. Just a little bit comfortable, a little bit more comfortable, a bit more space around us. Pretty much a better view of the ring. But there you go. That was a recap review of the Dynamite and Collision taping in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Let me know if you've got any questions at all. Thank you very much for watching this. This might have been a little bit long, but I appreciate it if you stuck around and saw the whole thing. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!